First of all, I appreciate the endeavors taken by Malla Reddy College of Engineering, Hyderabad, Telangana, for organizing this faculty development program on professional ethics in academics with special focus on engineering colleges. Respected Shiny ma'am, respected Anuradha ma'am, and all the participants of this online faculty development program. Friends, the topic assigned to me by the organizers is the demand of the time. For another 90 minutes or so, I'll focus on professional ethics in academics with special focus on engineering colleges. Friends, my session will focus only on three very important aspects of the day. One, the professional ethics. Second, ethics in academia. And then focus on engineering colleges with respect to academics and research. Probably you might have come across this very famous statement by Job Stafford. He said, if you don't stick to your values when they are being tested, they are not values, but rather they are just your hobbies. Friends, universal values are actually treated as moral and ethical frameworks for human behavior. Of course, they guide people towards justified action, and they equally promote common men and women for common good of common. With this statement, I begin for the day. As we are going to talk on professional ethics, but beforehand, we need to discuss what are human values. As far as human values are concerned, they are the core beliefs and principles that determine what is right, what is desirable, and what is important in life. As a matter of fact, human values are universal and they are deeply rooted in our culture, religion, philosophy, and human experience as well. But if you look into this aspect of life, you will realize that these human values actually shape our attitudes, ethical and moral decisions, and the kind of interactions that we met with the people around. So in a nutshell, human values help in determining what actions are the best in order to take it while living our life. Because values are the beliefs of an individual or a social group about what is held important either by an individual or by the respective group. And this way, these values motivate the people to act either one way or the other. If you try to segregate values into different categories, you will find that you have personal values, moral values, social values, cultural values, spiritual values, ethical values, which is the topic for the day, and as a whole, universal values. Probably some of you might have read this very famous quote by Oscar Wilde when he talks about a cynic. As he defines, a person who knows the price of everything and value of nothing is a cynic. Now, why do I quote this statement over here? First of all, you need to think that when we live our life, we are being the integral part of the society. We have our responsibilities to shoulder. And of course, our own personal life, professional life, that reflects in the society as well. So before I begin, we need to think about whether each one of us is having a particular approach and attitude to adopt certain things in professional life or not. And when we talk about one of the values that I said just before, that is ethical values. So let us try to think about ethics as a whole and the origin of this particular word. The word ethics or ethic is derived from the Greek word ethos, and the meaning of ethos is character. And I think being the teachers, we always focus on the character building of our students. Similarly, there is one more Latin word, that is mores, which means customs. And if you see the word ethics, it looks to be the combination of ethos and mores. That is ethics. The study, ethics is nothing but the study of how people come to formulate their own beliefs about something which is either right or wrong. Actually, ethics is a branch of philosophy that involves systematic study of human actions from the point of view of its rightfulness and wrongfulness. If you refer to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, you come across different meanings provided by this particular dictionary. Merriam-Webster dictionary defines ethic as a guiding philosophy, a set of moral principles, a set of moral issues or aspects. It is also interpreted as a theory or system of moral values. The fifth meaning which is provided over there is a consciousness of moral importance, or is the principles of conduct governing an individual or a group. Or finally, it says like the discipline dealing with what is good and bad and with moral duty and obligation. Whatever it may be. But if you look into this particular definition, you will realize that ethics is the branch of knowledge that deals with the moral principles. And every individual has his own set of ideas, has his own set of moral principles that one adheres in life. Because moral principles actually govern an individual, his behavior, his conduct, his activities, so on and so on. Because ethics or moral principles is such a branch of philosophy that involves systematizing, defending, and recommending concepts of what is wrong and what is a right behavior. Here, you will realize that ethics actually refer to the rules provided by an external source. For example, the codes of conduct in workplaces or principles in religion, or as some of the codes which are also introduced by the society or the community in which we are living. But if you meticulously see, ethics is the branch of philosophy that addresses questions about what is justice and what is morality. Probably you might have heard several very renowned statements and proverbs about justice, like justice delayed is justice denied, like this. So here, this branch of study called ethics looks into all these matters and provides a platform for the common people across the world to adhere the same in life. Because this field of ethics, along with aesthetics, concerns matters of value, and these fields comprise the branch of philosophy called axiology. Okay. These are, the various definitions and the interpretations of ethics as a concept. But as today we are going to talk on professional ethics, that too limited into the domain of academics. But before I connect professional ethics with the arena of academics, let me define what do you mean by the professional ethics in particular. So here I quoted a couple of renowned authors, those who talked about professional ethics. As a matter of fact, professional ethics refer to the personal and corporate standards of behavior expected of individuals, every individual, I mean to say, in a professional setting. Because these ethics actually guide an individual or the professionals how to interact with the clients, how to deal with the colleagues, how to be in the society by emphasizing integrity, responsibility, fairness, and respect to the self and to others as well. In this respect, I would like to quote Frankel, who published a book in 1989 titled as Professional Codes, Why, How, and with What Impact. It was published in a journal, the Journal of Business Ethics. He defines professional ethics is the moral bond that unites professionals, guiding their conduct in service to clients, to the public, and to the profession itself. On the other hand, you have another author who contributed a book titled Ethics and the Conduct of Business, published in 2012, Boatwright Jr. He says, professional ethics involve the application of moral principles and standards to the decision, behaviors, and the practices undertaken in the workplace. So friends, in the theoretical point of view, you might have felt that the last 2 to 3 slides are purely conceptual and purely theoretical. But let's try to understand, what do you mean by a thorough professional? Because all of us are working in the field of teaching. We are the teachers. Some are working in the professional colleges. Some are working in the colleges where the traditional education is being provided. But actually, we are all the professional teachers. But now the question is, let us try to introspect a bit. Please don't feel that I'm trying to offend you, but just introspect for some time. Who is a thorough professional? How will you define? How will you judge that your colleague or yourself is a thorough professional or not? So let us try to understand based on 2 to 3 very key aspects in this regard. Someone who is highly skilled, knowledgeable, and dedicated to his or her own profession is called a thorough professional. But is it sufficient to call an individual a thorough professional? based on this definition of an individual or a skilled person, can we say that somebody is a thorough professional? No. I would like to add on a couple of things more. Number one, who is a thorough professional? Not the person who is only highly skilled or highly knowledgeable or dedicated to his work and he is a very good performer, always result oriented. But I would go for one more interpretation of an individual based on certain facts, that whether the person is capable enough to differentiate between his personal life and professional life. And here, for so many times, many of us get diverted and we are mistaken sometimes. What I mean to say, when I say a person who can differentiate between personal and professional life is a thorough professional. What do I mean to say? I'm trying to tell you that you are supposed to be an individual who is separating your personal life from your professional life and vice versa. What is that all? Sometimes what happens, something happens in personal life that starts affecting your professional life. Or something that happens at your workplace, you go back home and you start affecting your home or family by the disturbances at the workplace and vice versa. Here, my clear-cut suggestion is, what are we supposed to do as a professional teacher? Once you start from your home, by the time you reach to your workplace, try to get retired from everything that is related to your personal life and family. By the time you enter to your workplace, you have already taken rid of everything related to your personal and professional life. Once you reach out to your place, you are fully dedicated by mind. You are ready to perform your job. And again, mind it well, whatever that happens throughout the day at your workplace, when you go back, please don't carry whatever good, whatever bad that happened at your workplace, never carry it to your home. If you could differentiate between your personal life and professional life this way, I can assure you that you are on the way to be a thorough professional. Let us move further. Let us try to understand again with this particular chart. Actually, I'm talking about the professional ethical life. And I do agree that everything affects everything, because you have your own personal character as an individual. You have your workplace, and the workplace has its own ethics and values. Similarly, you have your own ethical behavior. Sometimes your ethical behavior is affected by your personal character, or else your ethical behavior at your workplace is affected by your work ethics, which are imposed by your organization. So don't you think that all these three things are interconnected? You cannot purely dissociate your personality from the work and work from your, something that happened at home and all. But by your own efforts, you can do that. If you want to be on the line to be a thorough professional, try to differentiate something which is purely personal should never affect your work. So this way, if you could really work on, I'm sure that you are on the right line to be a thorough professional. Friends, as all of us are the teachers, some are working in engineering colleges, pharmacy colleges, or medical colleges, or arts, science, and commerce, traditional courses, and all that. But when you talk about the role of a teacher, okay, here I would like to quote Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. When I was teaching in engineering college in Hyderabad, it is Nizam College and Matrushri Engineering College. That time, the Wings of Fire was assigned to the students of first year. Okay, I taught it when I was there in Hyderabad. What your APJ Abdul Kalam says? This is a very famous quote from him. Learning gives creativity. Creativity leads to thinking. Thinking provides knowledge. And knowledge makes you great. Now you see here how all these things are connected, well connected. And that is applicable to everybody. Whether you are a teacher or you are a student, whatever you are, or whichever role that you are performing in the entire system. So it is learning that gives you creativity. So the first opportunity that we should take is we should be always open, we should always be ready to learn something or the other every day. Because that learning experience is fundamentally making us creative. Recently, you might have heard that the educational system is, actively working for creativity. But I would love to say that it is all depending on an individual. How do you learn? What do you learn? And how to, promote your own creativity? How to create your own creativity? Because that creativity leads to thinking. Thinking, of course, you need to think out of the box. You need to think within the box. You have to have the critical approach of thinking. You have to have a lot of knowledge of different critical perspectives in literature so that you will make your creativity diverse by your critical approach. Because that thinking fundamentally provides you knowledge. And as APJ Abdul Kalam said, knowledge makes you great. So if at all you want to be a great teacher, first of all, you need to be in the mode of learning so that you will be creative. Once you are creative, that will lead to thinking ability. This critical thinking ability will provide you a lot of knowledge, and that knowledge will definitely make you great. So this is how is the concept of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in the respect of creativity leading to your greatness. But here, I would like to talk about the role of a teacher in engineering colleges. See, 4 to 5 things we need to remember. Because when we perform as a teacher in the classroom, we have to have a vision first. Because unless a teacher is a visionary, he can never create a generation for the future. So develop a vision, be curious and keep learning, as it is also stated in the quotation of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Always take initiatives from your side so that you keep up the pace of learning and you be creative, you be thought-provoking. Once you be knowledgeable, automatically you are on the way to be a great teacher. So embrace all challenges in your career because we experience so many ups and downs in our professional life, and we need to accept all these changes so that you should embrace the challenges. And finally, mind it well, first of all, empower yourself and also at the same time empower others as well. So whenever we talk about the role of a teacher in an engineering college or even in any college, I would say, whether it is a professional college or a non-professional college, but you have to have these features as a part of your personality so that you continue to contribute as a great teacher. Let us look at this slide here, because I'm going to refer to Mintzberg, who published a book in 1973 titled as Managerial Roles of a Teacher. He has suggested only 3 roles as such. One is the informational role, and of course that I think we perform our level best. Then there is the decisional role that we adhere in our career throughout. And then the third one is the interpersonal role. So by referring to this Mintzberg's ideology of the managerial roles of a teacher, because all these 3 terms are self-explanatory. So I'm not going to dedicate any more time for the explanation of all these 3. That is informational role of a teacher, decisional role of a teacher, and interpersonal role of a teacher. But here, I would like to focus on the skills which are disparately required for every teacher, irrespective of your background, irrespective of your subject, irrespective of your domain of knowledge, right? So every teacher have to have in-depth subject knowledge, very effective communication. When I say communication, I mean to say very good command over your language in the grammatical point of view, in the structural point of view, and at the same time, you are proficient in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So that is what I mean to say when I say effective communication. Similarly, academic planning, mentoring students, time management skill, organizational skills, managing groups, and managing administrative work. If you see now the kind of teacher that we are, because we need to do a lot of administrative work, we need to do a lot of managing groups and working in groups kind of thing. We need to do so many things which are related to the mentoring of students and academic planning and so on and so on. But the point here that I mentioned is time management. Can we really manage time? As a matter of fact, we cannot manage time because we have a limited span of time in life. 24 hours a day, 365 5 days a week, a year, right? So where is the space to manage the time? Actually, instead of calling time management, I would say self-management. If you could manage yourself according to the available time, then automatically you can say that you are managing time. Actually, you are not managing time, but you are managing yourself. So this particular chart, which is provided over here, is also self-explanatory, and I hope all the participants might have had a glance on it also. Let us move further, because we are talking about academic ethics. So whenever we talk about the academic ethics, there are certain code of ethics that we have to have while being the teachers in the field of academics, right? So integrity, professional competence, confidentiality, objectivity, and professional behavior. These are the key code of ethics that every teacher must have. You cannot compromise with your integrity for it. You cannot compromise with your own personal professional competence. You cannot compromise with the element of confidentiality in professional life. You cannot compromise with the objectivity and your professional behavior in your own organization. Because all these factors, all these code of ethics create your image as an individual. And since they are straight away or directly related to an individual who is a teacher, and they are directly and indirectly related to your profession, so these academic ethics are also necessary for everybody that you will call as the code of ethics to be adhered by everybody in our personal and professional life. But now, let us look at this aspect. This is the matter of worry actually, not only in India, but across the world. Because when we talk about research and publications, see here, whenever you talk about research and publications, I think we are always on toes, right? So many deadlines, so much of work to do at the college, so much of work related to your either IQAC office or NBA accreditation or NAT accreditation, so on and so on. So the question for every professional is, where is the time for research and publications? So what is happening then? So many unethical practices are taking place in our life in the sense in the life of the teachers. When you execute any kind of research and you want to publish it in the course of time, always involve the application of fundamental ethical principles to your own research act. You should include the design and implementation of your own research. Ensure that the designing and implementation is your own. You may monitor, you may observe, you may study the research done by other people around you, maybe in the same domain knowledge or else the other one. But here, when you use different resources for your research, you come to your own research outputs. But mind it well, your research is controlled by some or the other regulation which is imposed by the law of the country. I hope you got my point now, what exactly I'm trying to tell you all. If you become a thorough professional teacher, you should also become a thorough professional researcher. Got it? Because there are several ethical principles of research that we are supposed to adhere, we are supposed to follow in our own personal experience of doing research and doing publications in national, international, peer-reviewed or refereed or Scopus journals or UGC care. I think UGC care is recently discarded by the UGC itself. Whatever it may be. But here you need to understand that whatever research and publications that you do, you are supposed to follow the ethics related. Govern the standard, standards and the standard code of conduct. Every researcher is supposed to be very, very particular about the scientific misconduct. Unless you check your research on the parameters of scientific misconduct, on the parameters of plagiarism, on the parameters of AI written content, on certain parameters, you will not be able to give full justice to your own research that you do. So please, you are expected to adhere to the ethical principles in order to protect the dignity of your own, dignity of other researchers, rights of your own, the intellectual rights of the other researchers, and the welfare of all research participants, if at all you are doing any kind of research as a team or as a group. Ensure that you are protecting the welfare and rights of every contributor. Similarly, try to govern the principles or assumptions which are being underpinned the way individuals or the organizations ought to conduct themselves. Mind it well, sometimes we do a sponsored project. Sometimes we, as a whole, as an entity, involved in the entire process. So we have our own values, we have our own principles, we have our own assumptions, we have our own methodology to execute that work. But as a matter of fact, the most important thing is how ethical you are, how particular you are, how cautious you are about plagiarism, about AI content, AI generated content, or something that you find which is a kind of scientific misconduct in the arena of research, in the field of research. Let us look at this slide. It talks mainly about three important things that we experience in our professional life. As a teacher, is it suitable that we fabricate the data? As a teacher, is it okay that we go for falsification of our research material? Is it okay that if you could go for plagiarized content and you claim somebody else writing as your own contribution to the field of research? We are not supposed to do all these things in our professional life, especially as a teacher and as a researcher. What do you mean by fabrication? Fabrication is making up data or results. It means you start manipulating the data collected as per your expected results. Okay. Second, you also fabricate, you also manipulate the results. Mind it well, when you manipulate your primary data collected for the research, don't you think that it is directly affecting the conclusions and the results of your research? And this is called fabrication. Second, falsification. What is falsification? Falsification means manipulating research materials, manipulating equipments which are used for the process of research. Similarly, the different processes as suggested scientifically or technologically in order to conduct that research, if you start manipulating the process also, mind it well, that will definitely change the conclusions and the results as well. Like changing the data or omitting data, that is also not considered ethical especially in research. So here you will find that all these things are happening around us, and that is affecting severely and seriously to every individual in our country. Similarly, you have one more very, very important aspect that we need to take care of, and that is plagiarism. What is plagiarism? Actually, plagiarism is presenting someone else's work or ideas as your own, right? With or without their consent, sometimes by incorporating it in your own work without full acknowledgement and all that. See, if you find that some content, some terms, some terminologies, or some introductions are being done by an individual, the intellectual credit should go to that particular individual only. But as you know very well, we are living in the highly sophisticated technological world. We are well connected to the entire world with the help of smartphone, with the help of our laptops, with the help of computers, provided with the internet facility. And this internet facility has provided every detail just at your fingertips. Okay. So when you go for that, don't you think that this plagiarism, which may be either intentional or unintentional from your side, but that is fundamentally unethical. And moreover, I would like to warn you all, that is the violation of the intellectual property rights in that particular country. Because every country has introduced IPR rules and regulations, and depending on the modulations made by or the code of conduct introduced by the government of the respective land, we are supposed to be very, very careful about the plagiarized content. So here, when I say like this is contributed by XYZ, or when you say the association of certain ideas or provision of certain ideas or introduction of certain ideas by an individual go to one's credit, let it happen. Never claim that the theory of dissociation of personality of poet is introduced by me, whereas the credit goes to T.S. Eliot. Or else when your William Wordsworth says, poetry is nothing but the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings in tranquil state of mind. Let it happen that the credit should go to William Wordsworth only. You may go for the interpretation based on your own logics, conjecture, and your own observations. But you cannot claim that this particular definition is introduced by you. So these are the property rights of William Wordsworth himself or T.S. Eliot himself. So likewise, we need to be very, very cautious as far as the fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism is concerned. Let us move further, because we have been talking about plagiarism, we have been talking about the other areas as well. But this intellectual honesty is very, very important in our personal life as a teacher and as a researcher. Okay. So one proverb that is very famous across the world: honesty is the best policy. What is honesty? Actually, it is our moral duty. It is the duty of everybody. Okay. It is our moral duty to be honest. And that's why it is said, honesty is the best policy. Okay. Intellectual honesty in proposing, performing, and reporting research, which refer to the honesty with respect to the meaning of one's own research. See, when you happen to propose your research, if you perform while doing your own research, or else once your research reports are ready, you are going to report it, you are going to submit it, ensure that you are honest to yourself, respect others for their contributions, and have self-respect for yourself for your own contributions. If you could have this kind of approach in mind, I can assure you that you will be on the right line and you will be adopting this principle in life. That is, honesty is the best policy. Sometimes you may at loss, but never compromise with honesty, right? So it is expected that all the researchers present their own proposals, collect data honestly on their own, communicate the same in the form of report writing, try their level best of the best understanding of the work, and then do your written communication, or else present it verbally. But if at all it is not your own, never claim that it is yours. Intellectual honesty is honesty in the acquisition, is the honesty in analysis, should be the honesty in transmission of ideas. See, I'm talking about three different stages where you should prove yourself as an honest person. Okay. When you are in the position where you are making the acquisition of the collected data, or else you are collecting certain information for your own research, you are accepting something from others, ensure that you are honest to yourself and to the kind of process that you are. Similarly, when you are in the process of analysis and interpretation, ensure that the analysis and interpretation that you are doing, it is your own. Okay. Don't allow others to interfere with. Second, don't claim others as if it is your own. And finally, while making the transmission of your ideas, either verbally or in the written form, do it on your own. This copy-paste culture is the most harmful culture to the identity of an individual, whether you are a teacher or not, or else you are a researcher or not. But never claim others and present as your own. So finally, a person who is being intellectually honest, when he or she knows that certain truth is truth, he or she should always state the same truth as the matter of fact. If at all you don't do and compromise with the truth, then probably you are not following certain values in your own life. Mind it well, friends. All of us are the professionals in the field of teaching. Okay. Unless you change yourself, I'm sure that we will not be on the path of professional development. As I said earlier also, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam has given us so much that has really shaped the life of so many great teachers, so many great engineers, so many great technocrats. And here, there are a few values which are strongly promoted. He said, dream big, but start small. Okay. So the way you really look at your life, you have to have a larger perspective. You have to have a big vision to look. Unless you dream big. You can never be a big man. You can never be a successful man. So you may begin with something very small, at a small level. Never bother. Every beginning is a small beginning in the beginning itself. But once you start small, gradually what will happen? It will get expanded, expanded, and expanded. Dream is not that which you see or visualize while sleeping. Dream is something that does not let you sleep. So always dream big, in the sense, have a brighter vision to life, set your larger goals, ensure that you have your short-term goals to achieve, you have your mid-term goals to achieve, and you have your large, or else ultimate goal to achieve. In order to reach out to your ultimate goal, you have to begin something small in the beginning, and gradually you can set your ambitious goals. You can focus on your daily progress. Don't wait for a perfect plan. Every plan is a perfect plan. Your first initiative is necessary. Value every moment of your life. Value every small task that you do. Ensure that it is going to be a brick in the making of a long-term success. A single brick contribute the construction of a multi-story building. So likewise, your small step is going to build a big dream for you, and you need to be very, very specific, very, very professional, very, very thorough professional as far as your contributions are concerned. Then there is another very important suggestion given by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is leadership is action, not position. But unfortunately, what do we do? What do we do? Once you be the head of the department, you feel I got a position. Once you be the coordinator of IQAC or NAC, you feel that you got a position. But mind it well, when you get a position, it doesn't mean that position is there to exercise your power. You need to remember one thing. Leadership should reflect in your action, not in your position. Whenever you get a key position, ensure that position is there to perform, not to show off your strength, not to show off your position, not to show off your power that you are getting along with your chair, along with your position. Okay. So here, you need to remember one thing, that leadership should lead to action. It should not lead to the sense of pride created by position. So if you want to shine in life, okay, like the sun, first of all, you need to learn how to burn like a sun. Got my point? Because if at all you want to shine like a sun, okay, like the sun, first learn how to burn like the sun, then only you will be in the leading position and your action will speak more. Okay, your action will speak more than the position that you got. So show up fully, even when no one is watching you, or maybe some people are ignoring you, let them ignore. Okay, but one day you will be in the focus. Lead the team once you get the opportunity, but lead the team with accountability, with the sense of responsibility, with empathy for your team members, and always influence people not by authority, but by your action. If you could do this, I can assure you that you are on the right path of your professional life. Let us learn few more aspects, few more values in the same context, because we are talking about how to be a thorough professional, how to develop ourselves as a thorough professional in the field of academics, as a teacher, as a researcher. Mind it well, lifelong learning is your edge. So please stay curious. Read as much as you can. Ask any number of questions. Explore your own new world. Because once you learn something new, whether it is a tool, whether it is an application, but at the same time, improve your own communication, pick up some domain of knowledge, try to be an expert, improve your own knowledge about the same, and then you realize that the more you grow, the more value you bring to your own role, either as a teacher or as a researcher, whatever role that you are playing in your organization at certain position, like either faculty in charge or as head of the department or the director or principal or whatever role that you are playing. But you need to be in the mode of learning. See, every individual learns throughout the life, and the last lesson that we learn in life is what is death. Death is the lesson that we learn in our life. That is the last and the ultimate lesson that we learn. Okay. So here, one more value that I would like to discuss over here, that is work with purpose, not just with pressure. You know, in this modern world, what is happening? There is a lot of pressure in all the organizations. When you perform as a teacher or as the head of the department, you have your timelines, you have your deadlines, you have a lot of work which is imposed at a time, and they want everything to be done within the specified time. See, here you need to be very systematic, manage your time, okay, work with a purpose, never work under pressure. If you work under pressure, you will commit so many mistakes. And if you commit mistakes, again, you will be under double pressure. And once you are living and working under pressure, no purpose will be achieved from your side. You will gain nothing out of pressure. So always work with a purpose, have an objective, have a purpose, have a goal, have an aim to reach out to, decide your own destination to move towards, but never work under pressure. If at all there is any pressure, ensure that you explain your side also. Because excellence happens not by accident. It is a process of moving towards excellence. So always ask yourself, why does this? Always ask a question to yourself. Why does this work matters you? Okay. Why does this work matter you? Align your role, whatever role that you are into, with your own values. Never compromise with some of the values that you are set in your life, and let the purpose guide your priorities, and never allow others to misguide you and deviate from your own path. So let us move further. Because we are talking about the role of a teacher. We are talking about the academic role of a teacher. We are talking about the responsibilities of teachers. Okay. And the sense of ethical responsibility of an individual. But here, I would like to say, for everybody, whether you are working in an engineering college or non-engineering college or any traditional college, okay, there are certain ethical responsibilities which are also imposed on students. They should avoid plagiarism, they should avoid cheating, they should submit their original work, they should respect the deadlines given by the respective teachers, and their ethical collaboration in their respective group businesses. Then only the things will move on in the right direction. Only teacher is trying to maintain everything, but not the student. Do you think that we'll be successful in the path of being ethical? No. Then there are certain ethical responsibilities which are falling on the shoulders of faculty. When we are trying to assess our students, be impartial, do impartial grading. We should do fair evaluation. It should never be with a preoccupied ideas or notions or any kind of prejudice that we carry in mind sometimes for the students. Never. So we should also do some sort of ethical mentoring to our students so that they become aware of plagiarism. They think of submitting original work. They are respecting your deadlines also, not under pressure, but with respect. Okay. And finally, we should also acknowledge, being a teacher, we should also acknowledge our students' contribution, whatever they did. Never forget that you were also a student once upon a time. Okay. Now we have reached a certain level of knowledge. We expect high from our students. But have you ever thought that once when you were the student, okay, at your early stage, you had that kind of in-depth knowledge that you have today? Of course. So here, every teacher is supposed to think in the student's perspective and in the perspective of the teacher also, and then only things will move on in the right direction. Let us move further. Here you have certain dilemma in our mind. What is that all about? Ethical dilemma in engineering education. Okay, now I have just mentioned as engineering education, but I would like to say it is applicable to all faculties, all types of colleges, whether they are offering professional courses or non-professional courses, whatever they are. But when we do it, mind it well, we always work with a different perspective of it. There are several ethical dilemmas in engineering education because we always carry a notion in mind that either publish today or just be perished. Why to be in this kind of pressure? Publish or perish kind of pressure is always there because management is asking your publication should only be in the Scopus listed journals. Scopus listed journals are in high demand. Financially also, their charges are very high. Their review process is also very lengthy. They take a lot of time. And every year, management and HOD and principal, everybody is asking that you should publish your papers only in the Scopus listed journals. Then we come under repression. Okay. So we have only one thought in mind, either publish or perish. So we are always in a dilemma. But all my dear friends, okay, if you are systematic, well planned, well prepared, okay, and your own creative ideas you are bringing out into the domain of research, you can definitely publish your own research in the standard journals across the world and get your own credits. Because academic dishonesty is going to damage your identity as an academician. Okay. Never do favoritism, never get into discrimination. You just prove what you are. You need not show off yourself what you are not. But as a matter of fact, that conflict is always there in mind. That is the conflict of interest in research. Okay. Why to get into all these dilemmas? Okay. Let us plan that every year I will publish only 2 articles in Scopus journal or else UGC care listed journals. Okay. Because once you publish over there, certain credits are there to your name. But if you work under pressure, okay, if you are doing something for the next year, why don't you plan today itself? If you plan for some publications in the next year, especially in the Scopus listed journals, your planning should begin 1 year before. Don't expect that you will write something today and tomorrow it will be published. And if at all any journal is doing that by charging you high, it means they are compromising with your quality of research and the quality of publication as well. Because there are so many predatory journals, okay, which have continued their business with the same name of the originals. Whereas the original publisher even do not know that some others are publishing under their own title with their own ISBN on, or else, sorry, that ISSN number. So please don't be in the ethical dilemma about publish or perish kind of thing. Never compromise with your academic quality. Don't ever be dishonest as far as academic and research work is concerned. Never be prone to your favoritism and discrimination in your life, nor for students, nor for the self. And there are always conflicts of interest in research, but sort it out very systematically. Then the things will move on in the right direction. So friends, let us move further. Here, I would like to talk about the impact of ethical lapses. You know, see, once you compromise with your values, your identity is totally damaged. Once you compromise with your own ethical setup, ensure that you are going to be, disrespected even in the society, in your own organization. Okay, so the impact of ethical lapses is very severe. If you compromise with your ethical values and professional values, what happens? It's a loss of credibility. It's a loss of vote of trust for you. Can you bear with this? Once you lose your credibility, can you compromise with the element of the vote of trust for you as an individual in the society, in the workplace, among your friend circle and all that? One more thing you need to remember as far as the impact of ethical lapses is concerned, especially in the respect of publications. There are several legal consequences that you have to face. If you compromise with plagiarism, if you compromise with something others that you are quoting as your own and presenting and promoting as your own, you have to face the music of the law of the nation. See, plagiarism and claiming others as your own is going to lead to certain legal consequences. Either you will be highly penalized or else you will be behind the bars. Okay, but legal consequences are there. Another important impact of ethical lapses is the poor quality of graduates. See, unless the teacher himself is empowered intellectually, do you think that he'll be able to create the empowered students intellectually? No. Same thing reflects in research also. If you follow all the standard norms of intellectual property rights, national and international norms, 100% you will inculcate the same among your students. They will follow you. So this poor quality graduate generation will have a pause. It is the teacher who can stop the poor quality graduate generation. Okay, you can convert them into a refined, sophisticated, intelligent, and very ethical kind of generation. And here starts the role of a teacher. One more impact that you find out of ethical lapses in life, once you compromise with your own ethics and values. Societal harm from unethical engineers. See, you might have heard about engineering and reverse engineering. Okay, if science tells you about the scientific theories, engineers give something either in the form of commodity, in the form of any engineering product, right? Because you believe in application based on certain scientific standards. That is the role of a teacher. That is the role of an engineer. So there may be some societal harm from the unethical engineers, or these engineers may be working as teachers or researchers, or they themselves are working in their own domain of knowledge as an engineer in reality. So here you need to remember one thing: always promote an ethical culture. What is ethical culture? Right from the beginning today, since I started talking on this topic, we are talking about human values. We are talking about ethic. We are talking about ethics. We are talking about professional ethics. We are talking about research ethics. We are talking about academic ethics. And being a teacher, it is our responsibility that we should promote an ethical culture, first for the self, at the same time for our colleagues, at the same time for our students, and we should also equate the same in our personal life also. So how to promote the ethical culture? Can I change the scenario in a day or two? Can you change the scenario around you in a day or two? No. You can do one thing. Join some courses on ethics and values. Let us know more and more about all these human values and ethics and professional ethics and so on and so on. Get into some discussion as a case study. Maybe some or the other ethical aspect you can take up. Go for a discussion among your friends and colleagues. Similarly, create or generate student groups, which are called student ethics clubs. Okay. Form the clubs of this kind and make your students be very ethical as far as these values are concerned. Similarly, always be cautious of plagiarism. Okay, already I discussed in my one of the slides. And be cautious of AI generated content. Check, cross-check plagiarism, cross-check AI generated content. Okay, you can take the help of the technology, but doesn't mean that you totally rely upon the technology. So here you have some institutional ethical audits also. Every college, every organization can conduct. And definitely these ethical audits and ethical reviews done by the institutions that will also promote the ethical culture within the society. So friends, here you have something very important. Okay, my final suggestion to you all: be ethical, avoid plagiarism. If at all you do something which is plagiarized, you will be marked as failed. And this is what so many people are doing, looking into some others' content and writing or typing our own content and then claiming it is mine own. So never be the victim of this kind of culture. Okay. Plagiarism is the act of presenting another's work or ideas as your own. Don't ever do that. So say no to plagiarism and try to be ethical as far as your own personal, professional life is concerned. As a teacher, as a researcher, or as a human being the part of this society. So friends, here I conclude my presentation for the day. And finally, I would like to say ethics is nothing but it's a mindset that you develop for your own. Okay, it's your own mindset. So you have your likings, disliking, preferences, okay, your own values, human values, professional values, ethical values, your own spiritual values, and so on and so on. It's your mindset. But put that mindset into practice so that you will be ethical. So there are so many engineering colleges, but they also must integrate. Okay, ethics development programs into every level and build responsible citizens and responsible engineering professionals for the near future. So with this kind note, I come to a conclusion for this presentation. And these are my references for this day, because first of all, I should also be equally ethical when I talk about something. And these are the references that I happen to use while making this presentation ready for you all. If at all you want to contact me, you can reach out either by email or else you can contact me by mobile number also. That is 8999173630. So thank you very much from my side. I'm grateful to the organizing institution for giving me this opportunity, and I hope I could give justice to the topic given to me. Thank you very much. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with words of wisdom and knowledge on the topic professional ethics and academics. As sir rightly pointed out, ethics is a branch of knowledge that deals with moral principle. The points were well explained how to justify our work and family life with moral and ethical values. enriching us to know the code of ethics and highlighting the point of self-management, especially with time managing, and defining on the points of what is ethical and unethical behavior in academics by adding insight to the points of fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. As Sir added a beautiful takeaway message, really I'm inspired by that message. The quote goes like this: if you want to shine like the sun, you need to learn how to burn like the sun. Really, it's an inspirational one. Thank you so much, sir. Right now, the session is open for discussion. You can raise your questions or your queries. You can post it in the chat box. If you wish to interact with our speaker, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Thank you, sir. Over to sir for Q&A session.
So now I'm open for discussion. If at all any queries, any doubts, I'll be happy to answer that.
The participants can unmute yourself and you can ask your question, or you can even post it at the chat box.
Okay, that's great. It seems there are no questions and queries.
Good morning, sir. I'm Sreka, a research scholar. My topic is enhancing speaking skills through artificial intelligence tools, language tools. So ethical values means you said that mindset. Can you please give me any particular reference research paper which are deeply analyze that articles while reading?
Yeah, of course, you know, there
Thank you, sir.
there is some PhD level research is also done on this topic and MPhil work as well. But if you could go for a search in InflipNet, okay, I'm just giving you an exact location. Just go for search in InflipNet. You will get some resources now. Otherwise, I'll do one thing. I'll try my level best to provide some of the links to the organizer so that they can also share with you. Otherwise, already I announced my number, that is my WhatsApp number. Just put up your request there, I will reply.
Can you please repeat your number?
Yeah, 8999 17 3630.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pleasure is mine.
Any more question is welcome, or any interaction or doubts you have, you can interact with our sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon.
My name is Dr. Reddy. It's not a major question, but usually I find that individuals set their values according to the institution. What I personally say is there's a lack of commitment and institutional value from the top, the management, and that can change reaction among the employees, so they have a will and drive. That means my senior professors somehow not standing up. If you do stand, I've seen in my career, people are somehow sometime now or later are supposed to leave. Like,
See.
somehow it's also need for us to educate the the core team about institutional values by not demoralizing the faculty who always try their best to give the management, best to the students and also the society. Some of my teachers are victim in this process. That's my personal view.
See,
What you
yeah. You see, your observations are quite right, especially in the private sector kind of thing. I have also observed the same, like, you know, all the organizations are very particular to provide the best of the best state of the art infrastructure to everybody, but they don't look into the minimum requirements of the teacher. But one thing in the respect of values, I would like to say, see, as I have already differentiated, like there are different values in life. You have your personal values, personal or moral values, social values. First of all, we have to differentiate what are the professional values, what are the personal values, and what is the exact work culture in the organization where you work. If you refer to the slide that I talked about, professional ethical life, I have provided a chart in which I spoke about work ethics, ethical behavior at work, and personal character. And some or the other time, there is always a conflict about these issues. So your observations, I do accept, and that happens in our professional life because our personal values sometimes do not match to the organizational values. So then there is a conflict always. Sudhakar ji, you want to say something? Okay, that's fine. Shiny ma'am, I think we can move towards conclusion. Sudhakar sir, could you please mute yourself?
So can I read out the question to you?
Yeah, please proceed.
The question is asked like how to maintain a balance between a teacher's research and publication and teaching a text with its detailed critical analysis when syllabi are frequently changing.
Okay, it's a very good question. I think it is posted by Professor Partha Sarthi. Hello, sir.
Yes.
See, actually, syllabi is not being frequently changed. Whenever any university brings a certain change in the syllabi, it goes for minimum 4 years, usually 5 years. Okay, minimum 4 to 5 years. And I think that is the sufficient time that we get to stabilize with the text or the syllabi which is recommended or prescribed by the university. But when it comes to maintaining the balance between the teacher's research and publication and the teaching text, see here, one thing I would like to say, the colleges hire us with a major purpose of teaching. Okay. If you see the UGC guidelines and AICT guidelines, our working hours are like 40 hours per week. Within that, 30 hours are dedicated for actual teaching and 10 hours dedicated for your own research activity. 30 hours teaching plus teaching related issues. 10 hours for publications and research. So if you could differentiate between this, okay, I think we'll be able to do that because I'm also working as a teacher and I definitely do find time even at home and even in the workplace to dedicate something or do something related to research and we execute that. But here now how much is your passion for teaching and your passion for research, that also matters because we cannot even compromise with our time given at home for the family. Okay, then because when you live in a metropolitan city, your transportation hours are also killing so much of your valuable time, isn't it? So it depends on an individual. How do you find time for that? Any other question? See, I would suggest only one thing in this respect, sir. Instead, we do numerically more research. Okay, I would suggest to do numerically less research, but qualitative research. Already I said, publish only 2 research papers in a year. Okay, but they should be qualitative because you are taking the span of 6 months for one paper. And that's a very good span. You can go to the field, you can do a lot of research, you can do something very concrete that is going to be, a huge contribution from your side to the research. Recently, I conducted a research on Gond community in the north of Maharashtra. Okay. And that I presented on the floors of IIT Chennai very recently. Last year, I did research on my own hometown, which is a multilingual place. In the linguistic point of view, I adopted the approach, linguistic approach, and presented a research at CIL, Mysore, Central Institute of Languages. See, likewise, if you are very specific about your own research areas and you dedicate your time and energy and present it in the very prestigious institutions, automatically you will get name and fame both. And people will also acclaim. Okay. Any other question or query? That's good.
Shall we wind up, sir?
Yes. Please proceed.
But now I request my colleague, Madhu sir, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of the Department of English, Malla Reddy College of Engineering, I take this opportunity to extend our deepest gratitude to Dr. Vital G. Gore for his exceptional and thought-provoking session on professional ethics in academics with a special emphasis on engineering colleges. His scholarly insight, eloquence, and clarity of thought provided a profound academic experience. The session was not merely informative, but truly transformative, reinforcing the vital role of ethics in education. We celebrate his esteemed presence and express our collective appreciation for his contribution to this important discourse. We would also like to place on the record our sincere thanks to our respected principal, Dr. Ashok, for his continuous encouragement, strategic vision, and steadfast support in promoting academic excellence. Special acknowledgement is due to Dr. Sneha Joshi for her meticulous coordination and facilitation, ensuring the seamless conduct of this program. We are equally grateful to this organizing committee for their unwavering commitment and behind-the-scenes efforts. We, the English faculty of MRC, extend our heartfelt appreciation to all the participants from the various institutions across India. Your enthusiastic engagement, thoughtful reflection, and academic curiosity enriched the session and contributed immensely to its success. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Can I leave the session, ma'am?